we are back. So, D'Angelo, you have been busy working on your books. Have you published anything recently, or are you still in the writing stage?
I have recently finished a book that was released in the States. It is called, I believe, Mysteries and Arcane Secrets. And I'm looking forward to enjoying a peaceful, resting evening.
Well, on occasion it might be a peaceful, restful evening, but this morning an invitation arrived, inviting you to Sunday dinner at 18 Grosvenor Square, courtesy of the London Esoteric Society. To meet
Oh, I
some
suppose
friends
that's
and
fine.
associates.
I will dress in my Sunday finest and arrive at the location.
Okay. So, as you arrive at the door, D'Angelo, you are greeted by James in his proper Sunday best. He's dressed for his smartest uniform, polished shoes. Takes your coat at the door. Mr. Williams, it's good to see you here.
Greetings. I hope all is well.
It is. May I show you through to the library or the parlour? The hosts, I believe, should be down in just a moment. The other guests should be arriving shortly.
Boss, please lead the way.
Agnes, would you just run and tell Mr. Green that the first of the guests has arrived? Please, this way, sir.
Boss.
As he leads D'Angelo through to the, I can't remember, did you say parlour or library?
Parlor.
Through to the parlour. Agnes Purton goes running upstairs to knock on Mr. Green's door. Sir, if you're ready, the first of the guests has arrived. Shall I tell you that you'll be down shortly, sir, or?
Oh, bloody hell, get on with it now. And the door swings open, and Augustus Green saunters out in clothing he clearly is uncomfortable with as he's wiping scone crumbs out of his beard. Agnes, pray for me.
I will, sir. Offerings will be made tonight.
You're a good girl, Agnes. Where am I going?
The first of your guest is waiting down in the parlour.
Who is it?
Mr. Williams. I don't know that you've met him.
I've not. Tell me a little bit about him. What do you know about him?
He's an author. He came by the society a few times. Seems a perfectly respectable gentleman.
Oh, he'll hate me. All right, let's go.
Shall I go fetch Miss May as well?
Yeah. I make my way to the parlor, and just before I walk in, I smooth over my face, and I mutter to myself, "You will not fuck this up. You are a gentleman." And then I walk in.
Okay. As Augustus entered the parlor, what would he see in terms of D'Angelo? Kind of imagery presenting tonight?
You would see a gentleman, a bit taller, a bit slender, almost frail looking, wearing a very nice suit with tails, very nice tie, a jacket over one arm. And he is currently looking over a statue, and it's located kind of towards the back of the room. And he turns towards you as you enter. Good evening.
Good evening. My good sir, thank you for coming. Extend the hand. My name is Augustus Green.
He'll take the hand. It is good to meet you. I am D'Angelo Williams. I haven't been around very much, so I apologize, but it is good to see things are in order.
Yes. orderly. That is what they are always like here. Yes.
I'm afraid I have not been up to date on the comings and goings. Is there any news recently?
Well, I moved in here recently. I still have my business going, my protection business. My adopted daughter moved in here as well. And everything is completely normal here. Everything is completely normal here. Yes. And drink. Would you like a drink?
What?
Okay, I go and I pour an absurdly large amount of whatever alcoholic beverage is on hand for both of us. My good sir.
Thank you. Has there been any worries recently? You seem a bit distracted.
Might I be frank?
Of course.
I'm a career criminal. I beat people up. That's how I make my money. Unfortunately, I had to change my life, and now I'm a accidentally successful businessman. I have no idea what I am doing. I hate these clothes. I hate the fact that I can't just walk down the pub and start a fight because I'm bored. I have responsibilities now. Quite frankly, life is really weird for me. This is so weird for me that all the random cult crap that we do, I figure you know a lot about it because you're an author. You are, as I would lovingly call my dear friend Dr. Mortimer, a nerd. So you know a bunch of stuff. What was the last incident that happened when you were around?
Right. Well, if I recall correctly, there had been a number of sudden combustions of people.
It happens a lot.
Unfortunately. It does seem to happen, at least here, far more frequently than it should. I'm not sure if you are aware of the Roman tablet situation.
Oh, that falls into the category of nerdery. So yeah, I know of it loosely, but I don't really care. Basically, this is what I do. I walk around. I tell Dr. Mortimer and Johann Zizzle or whatever his name is that they're dumb and they make me go hit things, and then I kill them, and then I keep them out of jail. So that's
Speak of the devil, as you're mentioning Dr. Mortimer, you hear a knock at the door, and James opens the door to Dr. Mortimer. Dr. Mortimer.
Good day, James. How are you today?
Very well, sir. The others are just through in the parlour. Shall I take your coat, sir?
Oh, by all means.
It's been quite the terrible weather recently.
It has been.
This way, please, sir.
I'll just follow him towards the parlour.
And you're ushered into the parlour just as Augustus and D'Angelo were discussing you. You get calling you a nerd. You get
Speak of the nerdish devil. Here he is.
And yes, I don't believe Mortimer has met D'Angelo before.
Is this a morning or afternoon? Would you say
this
morning?
This is afternoon, late afternoon, because it's Sunday dinner.
Sunday evening. Ah, good afternoon. How is everyone today?
Very good so far.
I hate these suits, but here's the good news, Dr. Davenport. D'Angelo is at least a somewhat normal fellow, so talking to him isn't as awful as it is talking with Johann S. Heim for Tannen, whatever the hell his name is, Tabernacle, Tallyface.
Some sort of combination of those, I'm sure he's quite happy with.
Just a bunch of random letters put together to piss me off.
Could very well be. Mr. Williams, I don't believe we have met before. What brings you to the society?
I have consulted on a few things over the years, and I was looking to see how things had gone in my absence. I'm told there have been some interesting developments, but nothing dire.
That's a very good way to put it. There have been a few strange incidents.
So did you know about the snakes?
I don't believe Mr. William... have you?
I have heard of many things about serpents, but I don't believe
Snake
anything
people.
involving...
Yep, that's the thing.
Serpent people or fish people or things along those lines?
I have encountered the fish people and people who believe in fish people. Have there been any new sightings of either group?
Not that springs to mind.
The snake people, a little while ago. You know about the gigantic death snake in the sewers?
I am afraid I do not.
Alright, so there's a gigantic death snake that lives in the sewers. Now you know.
Yes, just on the off chance, avoid the sewers.
Yeah.
But on that subject, I'd come up with an idea. I'd thought it'd be quite interesting, the snake skin that was at the property where we encountered the... well, we didn't encounter a giant snake, it had already left, but where it had been residing, we should say. I travelled there to recover the snake skin. I thought it'd be quite interesting as a curio, perhaps to the Natural History Museum or to sell in an auction, but looks like someone had got there first and it's already gone, so someone else is aware of a snake.
Oh, forgive me, when we say large snake, are we talking something similar to the python family, or are we speaking more of the constrictors of Africa? Or...
It would be like if you took like a horse carriage and then you took another horse carriage and then another one and another one. You smashed them all together, then you made it a gigantic murderous death snake. Yeah, that's about the size of it.
Judging from the skin we spotted, it's probably, I'd estimate its body width diameter to be about the size of a doorway. As to type of snake, I'm not sure. I'd hope to examine the snake skin to find out, but I suspect it's probably one of the boa constrictors. They seem to be the large ones.
Dynamite. That's what we need. We need dynamite.
Problem with sewers though, is the gases. The whole thing could go up.
Yeah, I've overlived my time. It'll be okay.
At this point, you hear another knock at the door. And James ushers Johann Wilhelm Freiherr Lieutenant into the house. Ah, sir, this way, please.
Thank you. My apologies for the delay. There's been a bit of an issue. Nothing too problematic, but it's delayed me a bit. So, hello. Did I miss anything?
I have been informed of a serpent issue.
Oh, yes.
Is this an issue for the authorities? I know there are some individuals who have a habit of collecting the more exotic creatures of the world, or do we believe this is something more arcane in nature?
I suspect it's going to be arcane, but the problem is trying to find a giant snake in the sewers is not going to be easy. So
They rejected all of my ideas.
We may have to wait till we hear some more news about it, but oh well.
Well, the skin we found was quite large, so I think it's not going to be undetected for too long. I'm kind of surprised that nothing has come up yet.
That's true, but I don't know much about... Oh, actually, having said that, Keeper, I had
Yes?
a book, didn't I? I was in a
Yes.
book about snakes. Would I just get some general information from that on snakes?
You can
I'd be
refer to
interested
that
to know
book and you want to
less
look up snake
about
information? Yes, you can consider
see how
yourself.
often they need to feed.
Yeah, you can consider yourself more knowledgeable in the manner of snakes.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
then the book makes no mention of snakes of the size of the one skin you encountered.
Yeah. Just curious on snakes in general, how often
Yeah.
they need to feed.
Not that often. They're quite
I seem to
good
remember
at
something
eating
in
and
real life as a
lasting.
person that reptiles can go long times without feeding.
Yeah.
There may be some time before we hear anything. It's probably we're trying to decide where to settle, but reptiles don't tend to eat that often. So
What?
they can go a long time without food.
But it was huge. The snake person was like, "Oh, if it doesn't get fed, it's gonna blah blah blah," and that's when I punched him.
He may have been not entirely truthful with us.
A real snake of a person. Snaked us. Anyway, Johan Will Freerzu, or whatever your name is. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's been a bit stressful in the last days, but
Drink. And I shove a large glass of alcohol in your face.
sure.
Good.
Cheers.
Where's
I
my
should-
daughter?
Well, as you're cheering, the door opens and a young woman enters the room. Looks to be probably in her early 20s. Doesn't bear any physical resemblance to Augustus. But she gives a little slightly awkward looking curtsy. Like,
You're doing
it
great.
looks very sort of careful and practiced, and from someone who really does not look comfortable curtsying. Good evening.
Good evening, May. How have you been?
All right. I'm very well, thank you, sir.
I seem to remember you mentioned something about a Mr. Maxwell. Is it Mr. Maxwell or was it Maxwell Porter? I cannot remember which.
Mr. Porter, Maxwell, yeah?
Maxwell Porter. I've never met the gentleman. I was curious if you could tell me anything about him.
Oh, he's long gone, don't worry where it. I don't know where he is now. Look. Augustus, do I have to do the whole being proper thing?
One second. D'Angelo, do you care if we're just normal people or we do the whole proper thing?
Please do whatever makes you all comfortable.
All right, we're drinking and eating scones. Enough with this fancy stuff. No one else.
Sorry, Mrs. Bramley came to say that the kitchen's been very busy making dinner, and there are no more scones because she's actually had to cook dinner.
One moment. Augustus goes up to get a scone stash and leaves the party as is.
I must.
He stashed them up. Oh my goodness. All right.
Look. Manson,
What are you doing to those scones, James? The guy is addicted.
James just gives a shrug. May turns back to Mortimer to finish answering his question. Maxwell was a collector. Used to hang around years back. I used to sell him stuff. Then he vanished. What more is there to know, really?
Well, hopefully he's good.
Yeah, no, I suspect he died a horrible death. That's what I suspect of everyone I don't see for a while.
Any interesting items or that you found?
I've not been doing much mudlarking lately, have I?
No, you've been busy.
Yeah, I have to admit, I wasn't so sure about this at first. But having a warm bed and, like, endless supplies of food it's not half bad.
Do you have plans yourself for the future? Or seeing what happens and living the life?
Yeah, I guess. Look,
Well,
I don't suspect this is going to last. Like, eventually whoever actually owns this house is going to turn up and kick us out.
Well, this house is a bit of a complicated matter. It doesn't actually belong to a person. I believe it's owned by a trust, which is managed by lawyers, but I don't know all the details. It's complicated, but I myself am a collector of items, probably similar to Mr. Maxwell. To be fair, most of my collector's items are books, but I do sell the odd unusual item that I find.
Books. Right.
Books or items sold to the museums and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I never really found that many books, you see. They tend to go a bit soggy.
That's very true.
If it weren't going to be soggy, if it's that deep in the mud, it would be problematic, a book to read.
Yeah, what is it? Sorry, I didn't introduce myself properly. I'm May, by the way. D'Angelo.
This is both. It is good to meet you. I am D'Angelo Williams. I have not been present in the city for quite some time, but it appears things are both different and the same.
Mr. Williams, I believe we might have a couple of your books in my shop, actually.
Oh, I am glad to see that you are a collector of literature.
I have one or two books myself.
We all start somewhere.
At this point, the entire conversation is interrupted by someone else hammering on the front door. Augustus, you're just returning from upstairs with your stash of scones when you just hear someone just absolutely like on the
I'll
front
get the
door.
I'll get it.
Okay, and standing on the step by now, I mean, it's February, it's late afternoon, it's getting dark outside. You see a very stressed-looking gentleman in what appears to be a naval uniform.
Salutations and greetings, good sir. I am Augustus Green.
Is this the London Esoteric Society?
Yes, would you like to come in?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Who are you?
Captain Hargreaves, Royal Navy. Sorry, please forgive the hour and the...
Come on in, we're all congregating in the parlor.
Excellent.
I'll take him to the parlor. Everyone, this is, and I am like painfully almost robotic and super stiff as I say this. Our captain, you said, Hargraves of the naval thing. Welcome to the Esoteric Society, good sir. And I just start eating scones.
Captain.
Good evening, Captain.
Evening. Sorry, as I said to your man at the door, apologies for the interruption, gentlemen. But there is a situation, and I don't know if you can help, but I heard that if there's a weird situation, you are the weird situation people.
Is it about snakes?
No.
Drink! And I shove a large glass of alcohol in his face.
Yes, Yeah, as I was saying, there has been a situation.
Would you mind elaborating?
So, I work as an instructor. No, that's too much elaboration. Maybe not. Earlier this evening, a friend of mine turned up at my office, well, earlier this afternoon, turned up at my office at the Naval College and asking for me to provide him with a large amount of explosives to blow up a ship that is currently in the estuary.
All right.
He claims that there is a monster on board that has eaten some of his men, and that we need to blow up the ship before the monster escapes. I would have thought under other circumstances that he had gone absolutely insane. Harris is an old friend of mine. I've known each other since our own days at Naval College, and he's not a man that prone to exaggeration or flights of fancy. He is. I thought maybe.
Oh, what is the name of this ship that you wanted to be blown up?
The Penelope, a gunboat.
Guns, you say?
Yes.
We love
Apparently,
guns.
he had locked most of the surviving crew under decks. So there is still powder. There are still some munitions in the magazine. It's not enough left remaining there to blow the ship. It was being resupplied, but they were out of his reach. Not that we are blowing the ship up. She is a fine part of the Royal Navy, and
I was going to say, yes, it's important not to blow that ship up if possible.
But aside from that, if half his story is true about, well, if half his story is not true, then he has half a ship full of dead men, and an explanation that only a madman would believe, which...
It could be some sort of toxic gas which has caused him to imagine something.
Perhaps.
And the same gas could be responsible for the deaths. I've seen strange cases of people with, especially in mines and strange toxic gases have caused a fair bit of confusion. But did he give any information about the monster, or...?
He was a little out of thoughts, ranting and raving, talking about masses and crawling things and dead men walking, and it didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Dead men walking.
But he said,
would you excuse me and my dearest daughter for one moment, please?
"Oh, sorry, miss, I didn't see you there. This is..."
Come on, daughter. Let's go to the kitchen real quick.
Okay.
No.
So, Augustus and May depart.
This ship that you have here, she was here to restock.
Yes, collecting some new crew from Greenwich, making our way down to Portsmouth. Routine business.
What mission was she last on?
Just patrol, nothing.
Where?
I'm not sure that's entirely relevant to the story.
Well, depending on what we're talking about, it might have gotten on board on the high seas somewhere.
I'm just curious whether it had docked somewhere previously, picked up something, or whether it has just been out at sea for all this time.
I believe she was in the Baltic region most recently.
The Baltic, huh? All right.
What size crew would you say?
The full complement is around 60.
And
they were a few men short.
So there's about 30 crew locked under decks, secured?
No. Half was perhaps. According to Harris's report, he came ashore with 3 other men. And there should be 10 men left locked under the decks.
Forgive me. Did you say that you gave this gentleman explosives?
No, he came asking me for explosives. I said I would go and see about it, then locked him in my office and came to find you. This is not something I could come to my superiors about, with them also thinking either I was mad or immediately arresting Harris and putting him on trial for whatever it is that he has done, whether it's simply neglection of duty or outright murder of his own men. Either way, I have no wish to see him hanged if this is not his fault.
Okay. That means we will have to go and visit that ship and see what it's all about. Does anybody of you have,
Gentlemen,
does
I am-
one of you have questions still?
I am no expert of the mind, but I've picked up a few things in my journeys. I can at least see if this individual is harmed by something, or maybe inflicted with some sort of disease, or any number of things. Ideally, this is simply a mistaken dream or delusion.
You mentioned about dead men walking. And what else was it? Sorry, about maggots or
Crawling things.
crawling things?
He kept just saying that it was crawling and creeping. I tried to press him on a description, but he just kept insisting that we had to blow the whole thing up. That was the only way to deal with it. I wasn't getting much sense out of him.
Does any of this sound familiar to me, Keeper, on the basis that the books, both books I've got tend to deal with necromancy?
You can make me a mythos roll if you would like.
I'll give that a go. Nope, fail.
This isn't ringing any immediate bells, no. Based on what you've read. The necromancy that's spoken of in your book is more about deliberate rendering down and making of a whole person.
Does anyone here have any ideas how to deal with Walking Dead?
I mean, assuming you do not want to blow up the ship.
I think
Keeper,
blowing up the ship would be the worst possible outcome
It
here.
would provide a lot of publicity to something we probably want quiet.
And also the ship
Keeper,
would be
would I
blown up.
know of anything in my studies of the written word and all that good stuff? Would I know of any?
Yeah, you can make me a mythos roll if you would like as well.
Can I get a successful roll on something this time?
Yes, okay, that is a success on a mythos roll. So, the book you've been studying is the Book of Ibon, I believe. That's your
That's correct.
particular tome, which doesn't, I don't think, reference so much about sort of the Walking Dead thing. It does make a lot of mention of horrible things that can come out of the sea, and all sorts of monsters that dwell in the deep, whether they are spawn of Cthulhu or other things that come up out of the depth that may either drive a man mad or might hunt and kill those who dabble with them.
Right, well,
But
I'm afraid I won't know
think
too
given
much
what you know so
without.
far, there's not really much to work on in terms of specifics. We don't have much information yet.
Whether it is worth us speaking to this Harris before we investigate further, but it does sound as if we'll end up having to be a bit late for this evening's meal.
Seems like it.
Yes, if you gentlemen are able to help, this would be excellent. I am fear that when morning comes I will have to inform my superiors of something. But if we can anyway get to the bottom of this matter tonight, then it might be that Harris has simply gone mad. It might be what you suggested, gases. In which case
We can make an examination of the bodies and come up with a cause of death.
we can tell the Admiralty and pass this on to their hands. But if it's truly a monster, then I don't know what to do.
I suspect, although explosives was an option mentioned, fire seems to work for most things. So the munitions are likely stored safely somewhere, sealed up.
Yes, but I fear that depending on how applied on a gunboat, fire may, in its own way, lead to explosions if one is not careful.
True. We shall be as careful as we can. But we need more information, and until we get there, there's not much we can do. So
I have a carriage, a hansom cab waiting outside. I told him to wait. I don't know if you gentlemen prefer to come with me, or if you prefer to make your own way there.
we have to grab a few items before, but I think we're more or less ready. Unless anyone has any items they wish to pick up.
I have all I need.
We'll be fine.
Excellent. And your man, the big fellow?
One of us should probably, inform Mr. Green, so he can follow up once they've dealt with their.
Perhaps we should wait till he returns.
Speaking of which, Augustus, heading back into the kitchen. What
Yeah.
are you up to back there?
So I'm going to look at my newfound adopted daughter. I'm going to say, look, we have this conversation every time, but we'll have it again. If I die, I die. I'll leave some money for you. People here know to look out after you. You're one of us now. I let you stay in that room just so you can understand what what's the word that those nerds use? Theoretically, at least what I'm theoretically going up against. And yeah. Have a good night. By the way, do you remember where I put my gun?
Yeah, third drawer down. He tapes it to the top of the drawer so that no one can
Oh,
find
with
it.
my knife. Okay, all right. Eat as much as you want, and if you could save us all a plate, have the cook save us all a plate, that'd be great. Yeah. Okay. Take care of yourself, kid. And I just kind of walk out. I walk back to the parlor. 1 second, getting my gun and knife. Just walk straight up to my bedroom, third drawer down, grab my stuff, walk back down, go, let's go kill some stuff.
Okay.
Would it be possible to pass my shop of the carriage and I'll pick up my guns on the way?
Certainly we can detour by your shop.
Just in case
Carriage?
needed.
Johan, you can't come on the carriage. You know what you did.
Sorry, what?
You aren't allowed to be near carriages. You know what you did. My tooth. You ran out in front of it. Somehow I was the one who got hit, not you.
I'm not understanding the connection between sitting inside a carriage and standing in front of one.
When you're around horses and carriages, I get hurt.
Would it not be safer to keep him in the carriage?
Also, I don't think that one data point is enough to make that conclusion yet.
Listen, nerd. I don't know what that means, but I feel disrespected. And I storm out to get into the carriage first.
Yeah, so as everyone crowds into the carriage, it is a little bit of a squeeze with 5 of you.
You know what? To make Mr. Green a bit more comfortable, I will take my time and take another carriage. I'll come after, maybe half an hour.
Okay.
I will
Take some time to.
And D'Angelo, are you
preparation.
going with Johan?
But having said that, if I'm picking up my guns on the way, we may arrive at a similar time anyhow.
Yeah. You've got to do a bit of a detour. So the first carriage with Mortimer, Augustus, and Captain Hargreaves sets off towards Mortimer's shop. Thank you, gentlemen. I was half expecting you to shut the door in my face and tell me I was a madman, and that I was friends with madmen.
We have seen a number of things to know that things that seem madness are sometimes real.
Yeah, I mean, he probably is a madman. He'll probably never be the same ever again. But do what you can do.
Right, onwards.
Just don't whine about it,
Sir.
sir.
I am a captain in the Royal Navy. I do not whine.
You're very funny.
Meanwhile, back at the house, D'Angelo and Johan. Do you have any sort of preparations or things you want to do before taking the society's carriage, I presume?
I think I might.
My gun is ready.
Pardon?
I will make sure that my weapon is ready as well. That is all.
I will find some blood and make sure that should it come to an altercation with a monster, I can stand in front and protect the others.
Okay, how many magic points are you putting into this?
I mean, there is an efficient point of 6, right? So let's take the 6 points.
Okay, so that will cost 6 magic points, and I believe it's 1d4.
Number 2.
You
Slowly but-
lose 2 points of sanity.
Slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely, downwards it goes. And you gain 66 of extra hit points. That is 6d6, not 66.
Meaning 18.
18. So, D'Angelo, well, are you doing this in front of D'Angelo? He has already seen it before.
Yeah, I'll not worry about that. I'm just pick like a little vial, like about that size, out of my jacket, and start using the blood in it to cast my blood ward.
Your dependency on this magic is worrying, John.
Well, if we're actually engaging a monster, I'd rather have it active than not. This is, I think, the second time since our stint at the sanatorium. But better safe than sorry. I feel like my mind is still mine, so
I hope for all our sakes you are correct. Everything in the world has a price, and we often don't find that out until it's far too late to do anything about it.
that is true. But, you usually do not know the consequences of most actions that you take until they show up.
Well, hopefully tonight won't be requiring any such extreme measures, and it'll just be a case of a person getting too drunk or bitten by some manner of bug or something.
Yes. I'd rather have done that unnecessarily, but on the off chance that it's not, it's probably better that way.
Okay, so blood magic complete, you head off on your way. Aside from picking up your guns, is there anything else, Mortimer, that you would like to do on the way to Greenwich?
Well, the thing is, Mortimer's probably still found it useful to have a walking stick anyway. At the very least, it makes a useful weapon. But whether he would have been able to pick up a sword cane, that seems to look like a respectable walking stick at some point.
If that's the kind of thing that you think it's reasonable for Mortimer to own, that I will allow.
So, because he's probably found out having a walking stick's quite useful for a number of things, as it gives a handy weapon. And being that guns get a lot of attention, something melee related might be useful.
Okay, so yes.
I'm not
Guns.
taking any of my books, but I am bringing my medical equipment.
Sword, cane, medical equipment. You
And
pile and gun. You pile into the carriage once more.
But I'm not taking that skin removing poison. And I'm not taking any of that weird powdery catnipy stuff.
Good. Not taking.
What actually said that? What would happen if you threw it on someone? No, that's a plan for the day.
They kind of get mobbed by cats. But yes, you pile back into the carriage where Augustus and Captain Hargreaves are waiting. And head on the way. And I think it's probably going to take about... trying to think of the speed of a carriage. 2 hours or so for you to all to get to Greenwich. So, Johan, you can regain 2 of your spent magic points. And by the time you arrive at Naval College, it is past dinner time, it is dark, cold, it has started to rain. You can still make out the impressive shape of the Greenwich Naval College set out in its lawns. As the 2 carriages pull up through a side gate, and Captain Hargreaves waves you past the perimeter guard and hurries you up towards his office. This way, gentlemen. Just try not to draw too much attention. Don't have too many questions asked.
Mortimer will just get out the carriage and follow him.
Come on. Ushers you onwards inside the buildings, through a back door, up a staircase, along the corridor lined with portraits of various imposing-looking men in uniforms with naval battles going on behind them. Many eras of history. As he leads you towards the end of the corridor, you can hear shouting. You hear a voice. Christopher, you idiot, don't let me out! This is important. I am not mad. I swear I'm not mad. And you hear this sound of someone kicking a door. And then a string of very inventive swearing that
I can only come from a sailor.
could only come from a sailor and is not appropriate for Twitch.
Captain, do you want me to slap him?
No. Why don't I just slap him?
So he stops doing that?
Harris, I have brought some experts to handle your monster issue. I'm sorry for leaving you for so long, but they're the only people I could think of. Would you now just please step back from the door? And you hear the noise on the other side subside for a moment. And Captain Hargreaves rummages round on his belt and pulls out a ring of keys and unlocks his office door. And as he's unlocking it, a man comes rushing out. Yeah? He just comes rushing out into the hallway. If anyone would like to do something,
I'm going to cold cock him.
Yep. Roll me a fighting brawl.
I'll try and grab him, but
Roll me a fighting brawl.
I would like to not be in his way at all.
I fail my grab attack.
Yeah. He slips past Mortimer's grab and runs straight into Augustus's fist. sends him reeling backwards. Oh, what the fuck?
I'm Augustus Green. Now we're friends since we fought.
Oh. Huh. You really did bring people.
Hello? Are you
Hello?
are you fine now? Now that you've tried to run away? Or do we need to make sure that we can talk this
You have
through?
a...
Yeah.
I'm fine. Look. Well, you're
How
not
about you go
naval
back
police, I
inside?
can tell that much.
We've been brought in to deal with this monster problem.
Let's call us consultants.
Consultants, right.
Yeah, we believe you about the creepy crawly maggots, whatever stuff it is. Like, we deal with that stuff all the time. So just sit down, explain it to us. We'll take care of it. No one thinks you're crazy. Don't make me hit you again. That was just a love tap. But we're friends now. We just fought. That's how it worked.
You find these people. Never mind, don't answer that. And as this is going on, Captain Hargreaves is just kind of ushering you all into his office, which is probably not big enough for this many people. But you all fit is just a little bit of a squeeze.
Would you mind starting from the beginning? From what you experienced or noticed?
Ah, yes. The beginning. Right. I don't know how much. Hargreaves had told you already.
Just start at the beginning and assume he didn't tell us anything.
Right. So, we were just bringing the Penelope back from routine training exercises out in the North Sea, and we came across a fishing boat in difficulties, careering all over the place. We sent out a boat to investigate, and they found one man aboard claiming that he'd sailed through a storm, had lost the rest of his crew. By the state of the boat and the state of the man, that seemed a believable enough story. We brought him on board, his own boat being in the process of sinking. Gave him some hot soup and offered to take him back to the port with us. And considered that the end of the matter. And then it was only a couple of hours later that I heard screaming from down below decks. Went to investigate, found 3 seamen dead on just gutted, torn apart, limbs missing. Look, I've been at sea since I was a lad. I've seen some nasty things out there, but this was like nothing I'd seen before. No man could do anything like that.
You only brought the one person aboard.
Yes.
Was he one of the dead, or...?
He was one of the dead. And from then on, it just got worse. Tried to round up the crew, trying to figure out what was going on and what it was that we'd brought aboard. But everywhere I went was just a trail of bodies. And stories that didn't make sense. Crewmen attacking other crewmen.
Did you find out any...
Miller shot one of the midshipmen, claimed that he was the monster. And then York, who is the bosun, trust him, good man. He said that the monster was in Miller. That he'd seen it tear its way out of one of the other sailors and just slither into him like some maggots, yeah, slug. I didn't see it myself.
Some sort of parasite or leech type thing.
Yeah, at that point. But look, at this point we were nearly back to shore. I battened down the hatches, locked the rest of the men down below. But the men that were with me, the ones that I'd had with me since the start of this whole thing, and rowed ashore to get explosives to sink the whole damn thing.
Did you find out any information about what happened on the fishing boat?
I suspect the same thing that has happened to the Penelope. That perhaps they fished something up. I don't know. I didn't quest. The man was dead. Before I knew anything was going on. As I said, he said he'd sailed through a storm and was in distress. But
did he behave normally otherwise?
I mean, look, to be honest, we're only getting half the story. The man was Dutch. So this is all coming third hand through one of the other seamen who speaks a little Dutch, but he seemed as ordinary as I could tell. I didn't know the man. He seemed a little nervous, but that I put down for the fact that he had been picked up by a foreign naval vessel where he didn't speak the language. But maybe there's more to it than that. I don't know. I know this.
Oh, sorry.
When you say this, it sounds mad.
Monster at all? You mentioned how you saw, or someone saw it leave a body. What sort of size would you have said it would have been?
He just called it a vast slithering thing. I didn't get measurements of him. Look.
I was wondering if we could get
York's down by the shore with the away boat.
Whether a very sort of fine mesh net could be used to capture it.
I mean, he said big.
Keeper, based on my knowledge of things, does this creature sound familiar to me?
So you rolled a success before, and yes, it wasn't ever given a name in your book, I don't believe, but well, it most sounds similar to some variety or some subset, something almost like a formless spore, but not quite as, perhaps, as intelligent or as cunning. Something more, or perhaps something from the deep depths of the ocean. Something driven by sort of primal hunger and desire to kill, but perhaps with at least some intelligence of its own, some ability to pretend, to pose as a human once it has inhabited them. That it might be able to carry on their normal movements and in some way perhaps recall some of their memories in order to be able to impersonate the body which it is currently consuming from the inside out.
I'll look around for a moment and then take my tie off and wrap it around my left wrist. This is entirely possible that we are still dealing with a mistaken self-odds of fancy or delusion. But on the off chance that that is not the case, I would recommend taking some form of verification of your identity. There are chances that this is something that can make itself look like something else. I have taken a precaution. If you were to encounter me without this around my wrist, I would be very cautious with assumptions. It is possible that it simply lost, but it could be something else.
But it does sound like one of the things we should try to deal with. Not encountered anything like this before myself, but something different, similar. But if we might be able to use some sort of fine mesh or netting to restrict its movements, perhaps, once we locate it.
D'Angelo.
Yes.
I have a handkerchief. Do you think if I tied it around one of my fingers that would do?
I think so. It should serve the process. You do enjoy fighting things, so I'd be careful not to lose your handkerchief in someone's face, but other than that, I think it would work.
That's a good point. Well, I pull out my handkerchief and I tie it around 2 fingers on my left hand. I'm right-handed. I do throw combinations, but it'll probably stay on. Wilhelm Fried Yo, whatever your name is. What are you doing?
I'm not too sure. The whole handkerchief thing is supposed to help how now?
It is my assumption that all creature here has the ability to mimic our appearances. It is an assumption that it will not be able to mimic outside changes, such as a tie or a handkerchief tied around a hand or finger. On the off chance we find ourselves separated, it may be good to have some way of external verification. It does not necessarily have to be a tie. It could be a group of words or a color, anything really. Well,
Johan, your
idea.
dangerous words should be dangerous horses.
Sure,
Mortimer, your words should be big nerd.
I'm not sure whether it'll be able to do so with me, as I'm currently shielded.
No one cares.
Shielded in what manner?
Just
Oh, magic. Oh yeah. Naval people. I don't know if you know this, but magic's real. There you go.
Perhaps we should have a look at the ship. If everyone is ready.
As ready as one could be. You're muted again.
I think I'm just not going to talk this session. I think that is best for everyone.
Does that mean we get all the sanity and luck back?
No, that means you just all interpret mime as I could just mime monsters coming after you. And yes, Harris says, I left the rest of the men who came to shore with me down with the boat. We can use that to get back to the Penelope.
Right.
I was just thinking, you'll have flares. We could always use a flare on the ship to signal for the boat to collect us when we're finished with what we're doing, rather than have to have the boat that brought us to the ship waiting aside in case something tries to escape on it or harm the sailors.
Yes, we can set them elsewhere. I scuppered the rest of the boats before I left.
it's probably best to make sure this creature doesn't have a way to get to shore. But we could use a signal flare or something to signal when we've dealt with the matter and for a boat to come to collect.
Yes. Solid plan. I'm impressed at your ability to keep a level head in face of such
Well, we haven't
madness.
seen it yet, so we shall see how
Yes.
well we do when we do.
Well,
Oh, he's being a modest. We're amazing.
well, good. And he looks over to Hargreaves like, how did you even... Never... Look, well, let's go. And as Hargreaves and Harris sort of start leading you sort of back down to the shore where the boat is, I think this might be a good point to take a break. And we'll see you back here in 10 minutes' time. And we are back. It is a rainy evening in February, and a group of men are hurrying out of the Naval College at Greenwich down towards the harbour, where there is a boat pulled up, watched over by a small group of very nervous, very worried looking sailors. You see a group of 4 of them there, looking around anxiously. As you approach, one of them nearly jumps out of his boots in sort of surprise, like raising an oar as a weapon. And Lieutenant Harris calls out, it's all right. This is my friend, Captain Hargreaves, and these 4 gentlemen are... I don't know what they are, but they're here to help. Gentlemen, this is Kennedy, York, Thompson, and Olive. They are still here, which is great.
Good evening.
Evening.
Oh, we need to go over to the boat. Would you consider bringing us over, or do you want to stay here and we do that?
I've had no idea how to...
I think it's best that my men do the rowing, and John looks over the rest of you and goes, I think...
I mean, we would get over there. It would just take way more time.
Yes. Kennedy, if you shuffle up a bit, fit them all in. And he sort of nods over to the youngest of the, men in the boat. He appears to be about 14, dressed in a midshipman's uniform. And he, as Harris sort of piles you into the boat, he points out to one of the other men, much older, sort of greying-haired man. He says, that's York, the boatswain. He is the one who saw the damn thing.
Oh, okay. Hey, York. I don't want to be insensitive, but could you give us a description of what it is that you saw? I'm Augustus, by the way. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, John York. I can give you an instruction before we row or as we row.
Whatever you want.
He looks up, and Harris goes, as we row, I think.
The faster this is over, the better for everyone, right?
Yes. Yes, well, I'd heard a whole bunch of banging down near the on the gun deck and opened the hatch, looked down, and saw two of the men down there. One of them had grabbed him by the shoulders, and he, I want to say opened his mouth, more like unhinged his mouth, and this thing came slithering out of him. Like, I think
Did it look like it was bone? Like made of like flesh and bone, like jelly?
more like I mean, the lighting wasn't so good, but more like a slug than anything else.
Sort of like a leech type thing.
Yeah, leech, slug, fleshy, and
So it was able to get in and out of the mouth easily and kind of cram itself in.
yeah. Well, yeah.
What color was it? Do you know?
Kind of greeny grey. But then after it slithered out, it slithered into the other man there. Cooper, I think that was. Sorry, it's I didn't stick around to study much longer, but
Did the man who it came out of die, do you think?
he kind of just collapsed. Like,
So this entered through the mouth.
yeah.
Okay, probably a good idea for us to cover ours.
No, cover the mouth.
Agreed.
Yes, men, handkerchiefs over mouth.
Or cravat or scarf, actually. Yeah, I haven't said that. The weather's probably pretty bad, so we've probably got mufflers or scarves or something like that.
Yes, I'm thinking of this stage of an era of a naval uniform. I think it's only the parade uniform that includes like the.
No, but I think like a muffler type thing is standard for Victorian fashion and all weather, especially the
Oh yeah, so
Supers.
people. I think everyone has at least got some form of handkerchief or scarf
Or
or
scarf or
something on them.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll have a handkerchief and a scarf in there, and then I'll help Johan by shoving it up into his face.
I'm good, thanks.
No, you're screwing it up. Let Augustus help, old chap.
Were
There you
these
go.
people able to speak while they were infected with this thing?
yes, I heard the first man call the other over. He could talk. Sounded just like him.
Any strange differences in cadence? They sound.
Sorry, differences in what? Sir?
Did they speak differently or slowly, perhaps faster than normal?
Not so far as I noticed. But, not so far as I noticed.
Interesting.
And so they're rowing their way out across the water, and you can see the dark shape of a gunboat at anchor in the middle of the Thames. There's no lights on deck, there's no movement on deck, just this ominous. At this point would be
Got some
opposite.
lanterns with us.
I assume you brought some lanterns with you, yeah.
We'd need something like that on the boat for a start.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean the boat definitely has its own lantern. There's a boat lantern on the actual boat you're on.
But being how dark it is, we've probably brought one or two.
All right. I would strongly suggest we stay together from this point forward. Should we find ourselves separate, we should assume that things may not be as they appear. It is an assumption, but I cannot be sure that these creatures, should they find their way inside of you, will know the same things you did. So, do not freely share information with people you are not sure of who they are.
Alright. If this is a slug, it might not react too well on salt water.
It was in salt water. The fishing boat.
I mean, it was on the people. Was it though?
Who could it have got on the vessel? Chances are
I'd
it was an
Cracked it
actual
up.
board. Unless it was in a fish I brought up.
Right, the fish had dragged it up from the nets and then
Post.
and freed it from.
I feel like the speculation's brutal. I would like to. Oh God, I hate doing this, but I know it was sounding like it was a joke earlier, but I do have a suggestion. As D'Angelo pointed out, maybe it may or may not be able to sound like us or know what we know or whatever. So, Mortimer, for you, I think you should have Big Nerd as your code word, Dangerous Horses for Wilhelm. D'Angelo, I think yours should be Good Words because you have a lot of good words. And mine should probably be
Scones.
Angry Scones. There we go.
Well, if it does not get to know all the things we do, this will help. If it does, it won't. But all right.
And we have imperfect knowledge. That was a word I learned the other day. Imperfect.
Okay.
You're making progress.
Thank you.
So, the boat pulls up alongside Penelope, and you can see there is a boarding ladder that leads up onto the deck.
I'll go first.
Hargreaves
Failed
says,
climb rolls.
I am going to ask for a climb roll for this, yes. Hey!
I don't think I'm allowed to count that.
Well, you can take that as a success, Johan. So Johan just up the ladder, like an experienced seaman, like he's been climbing on board naval gunships his entire life. The rest of you, well, who's next after Johan? Was that D'Angelo was next in line?
Next with me.
You sort of
Next with me.
start to go the first couple of rungs up. You realise that it's slippery, it's dark. The angle is a lot steeper and more severe than you thought it was when you first saw it. Your choice here is to spend luck to succeed, to push your roll by re-rolling at the risk of falling off and causing some injury, or to stay on the boat. Or any other
I will just
solution you
stay.
can come up with.
I will go last. I will stop and let other people go in front of me.
Okay, that same offer is posed to Augustus and Mortimer, who also failed their first roll. As you see D'Angelo start the ladder and then just take a couple of steps back,
Slide back down.
you realise that this is not an easy climb. This is not going to be easy. So your choices, yeah. Push. Luck.
I'll push.
Okay, so give me another roll. Augustus sort of pushes on up the ladder, gets a little further this time, then it's harder than it looks. You slip back down. There's a loud noise as the boat rocks back and forth. Under your weight as you hit down deck of the boat. Actually, better than taking damage, I'm going to ask for a group look roll for those of you still down on the boat. So that's not Johan. He is not part of this group. So whichever of the rest of you has the lowest luck will roll.
I'll probably be me. I'm up to 56 now, which is quite good, to be fair.
I have 54.
I have 42 luck, actually.
Oh, D'Angelo, you're rolling for the boat.
I don't roll well in this game at all. No, no.
So, Augustus climbs halfway up the ladder. Augustus slips and falls off the ladder. Augustus hits the boat very hard, sending the whole thing rocking back and forth with great force. I need a dexterity roll from everyone in the boat. And if you fail, I think you know where you're about to end up. Augustus and Mortimer, you're able to keep your footing inside the boat along with the sailors. D'Angelo, you go tipping over the side with a loud splash into the Thames. Just
But someone
cold
give
river
me a
water
hand.
all around you. The tide, well, not the current of the river dragging at you.
I'm gonna try to
Someone
drag
give
him
me a
out.
hand, please.
Yep. Give me a strength roll, Augustus.
I'll help if possible. So
I failed on an 80.
Yeah, Mortimer, give me a roll, unless you want to spend those 6 points of luck.
I will. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, go ahead.
You heave a wet and dripping D'Angelo back into the boat.
Okay.
Thank you.
Johan,
So sorry.
up on deck, you can hear all this commotion going on down below.
I'm gonna look around if there is maybe a rope, something like that I can let down to help them get up here.
There is definitely rope.
So I'm gonna tie the rope to like one of those pillars on the railing, and you chuck the rope down right next to it, and set it up.
Yeah, Hargreaves says, perhaps, yeah, if you tie the rope around yourself, that'll give you more confidence when climbing up the ladder. Then at least if you fall off, you can't end up in the Thames. This, yes.
Did you help me with that, Harris?
Yes. Harris and Hargreaves will secure you. Right, up you go.
Thank
It'll
you.
give you like a boost up the first bit of the ladder. There you
The
go. You got
indignity.
it.
The shame on Augustus's face. Even if you can't see it, I think everyone knows that it's there. This is the most embarrassed he's ever been. And the fact that Johan is the one who had to help him with the rope just makes it worse.
Yeah, so with the assistance of the rope and the help of the sailors, you do all make your way up onto deck. But as you're waiting for the first of the others to get up there, Johan, would you mind making me a listen roll, please? As you're watching Augustus clamber up the ladder. You don't hear
They're just
anything.
loud.
Yeah. It's just too loud. You don't hear anything else. Hargreaves, as he climbs up the ladder, turns to Davenport and says, what you said before about the boat pulling away, do you still think that's a good idea? Or do we need more men with us?
I'm not sure. I'm just concerned that this thing may try to find a way. If we're searching the vessel, it may try to escape through this way, but I'm not sure what our options are.
Our options are we leave some men with the boat, we send the boat away from the ship and call it back, or we leave a slightly different number of men with the boat.
The more of us there are, the higher the chances that they will be able to be interfered with. It is better for us to keep a relatively small group. It'll be hard for us to verify each of us are the same person if we were to be all separated.
If we stay together, we should be okay. So, yeah, perhaps leave a number of people with the boat.
You let them leave.
Yes.
If it's still on board of the ship, then that means it can't leave without a boat. which means we should probably send the others with the boat away. Because if it's not there, if it's able to swim, it's probably already gone anyway.
Okay.
Agreed.
And Harris leans down and goes, Kennedy, that boat's your command now. And the young lad gives a nod. And says, York, you're with us. And the bosun clambers up the ladder as the boat with the midshipman and the two other seamen pulls away.
Right.
So-
Did someone manage to get the torches?
We've probably got a couple of lanterns between us, and I suspect the crew have probably got a couple.
Yes, yeah. You see him fetching some.
You just pick one of the storm lanterns on the ship. There'll be plenty.
It's a good point.
Yes,
Right, well,
plenty of.
let's
lanterns.
light some of them.
No, we've got a few years to go. Soon they'll have invented the electric torch. Life will get a lot easier, and burning down buildings a lot harder.
There's probably, as mentioned, a few lanterns on deck. Anyhow,
Yeah. No, there's lanterns.
I think we'll start. Well, Morton will start lighting the ones nearest, so we can see what there is on deck.
Yeah, and as they're back on deck, you see Harris, so the commander of the boat, looks visibly sort of nervous and twitchy. Now he's back on deck. York, the bosun, as well, seems somewhat unnerved, but he's hiding it better.
And I suggest that you two stay towards the middle of our group. It appears that it would be best to minimize the chances of too many of us being attacked at the same time. Perhaps more of a straight line would be optimal in this situation.
Yeah.
From what I've heard so far, it seems to go after people on their own.
Well, then the best chance we have is not being alone, right?
Yep. So, should we search the? Where should we start?
How do you usually handle such matters, says Hargreaves?
Oh, that's true.
Go in and improvise.
Start at the before or after?
Where are the closest bodies to
Harris?
victims? Were there any on deck, or is it under deck?
I don't want any on deck. The closest to where we are is down through that hatch there in the corridor
just-
on the starboard
I'll take
side.
search and work our way through the deck.
One layer at a time, basically.
Okay.
I'll go up front.
So Johann's first.
Did you want a gun, or you got
Oh.
one?
It's gonna be close range anyway. I'm gonna throw my fancy
Saber?
rapier.
Like Harris sort of raises an eyebrow and goes, "Oh, nice blade."
Yep.
Do we? Oh, sorry, but do we have an extra gun for Mr. Williams? Since maybe falling in the trims might have.
Here, take this one.
Yeah, good. Sorry about that again.
It is all fine. I will take up position behind Mr. Tannen, and I will carry the lantern as well.
Yeah, a sword cane is 1d6 plus damage, Janus, by the way. It's listed in the table as something you might have,
Ah, cool.
because they know their players.
True. They're fashionable.
Alright, so Johann's up front. Well, presumably with Harris nearby, because he knows the layout of the ship.
Yep.
I'll be with Harris, either behind him or to his side.
Okay. And then, so Johan, Harris, and Augustus sort of near the front.
Now,
Then-
D'Angelo will be towards the back with the lantern.
Okay. Is he at the very back?
Sure,
Okay.
that's fine.
Just know who's at the front and who's at the back. Okay, so you make your way down this hatch leading into the close confines of the ship. And this is cramped. This is not a ship made for luxurious wide corridors. This is narrow corridors, a ceiling that you have to keep your head down. If you walk with too much bounce in your step, you're going to be hitting your head on something. This is...
Oh, I'm short. It's fine. Ha!
Everyone checking the height on the character sheets, like, oh! But yeah, as you make your way down, the first thing that hits you as you descend is the smell of blood. And like viscera and just this sort of stench of death as you make your way down into the ship. And as you come down the ladder and sort of around to the edge of the corridor, you're met with this just sight of carnage. There is blood splattered at the walls. There are two bodies, or the remains of two bodies, scattered across the floor of the corridor. They seem to have been partially sort of just dissolved, like the center of them sort of just collapsed in. Some limbs still holding their shape, but sort of the core of the body is almost entirely gone on one of them. The other body is much more intact and sort of still retains its shape, but the face is just missing. It looks like it's been torn away, just showing sort of half a skull beneath. And as you descend, as this comes into sight, I'm going to ask for a sanity roll. Initially, just from Augustus and Johan, because they're the only people who can see it yet. Johan? You're keeping your cool. This is Johan in his element so far on board this ship. Augustus, would you roll me 1d4, please? You've seen some nasty things in your time. But this is another level of horrible. And you will lose 2 points of sanity.
Augustus would... I think one tear would probably stream down his eye. He doesn't emote otherwise. But underneath his breath, or muttering to himself, all I'd bring about is death. If anyone heard it, they could tell that Augustus, at this point in his life, feels guilty for everybody who suffers in this realm.
Harris looks pretty disturbed by this sight. You see him sort of draw back for a moment. Doesn't get any better. And it gets worse the further in you get.
This body that does not look like it's been completely emptied out. I'd like to stab that. Just,
You go ahead.
Cautionary.
There's no roll to make. As you stab, you hear a from Harris. What are you doing?
making sure that there's nothing in there.
Yes.
He's dead anyway. He doesn't care about his body anymore.
And the body doesn't even twitch. Just slide the blade, stabbing it once or multiple times.
Well, let's keep going then.
Okay, as you press onwards, this scene of carnage comes into view of the second half of the party. So I'd like a roll from D'Angelo and Mortimer. Do you get a bonus die on these?
Nope, fails.
Okay, so I'll have a d4 from both of you, please. Yeah.
Not good.
Yes, D'Angelo, you sort of flinch back for a moment. You lose 1 point of sanity. Mortimer, you lose 4 points of sanity. Which puts you at 14.
That it does.
On the very cusp. But not over the line for now.
Quick question. Are there side rooms, like cabins to either side of this corridor?
Yes, there are, yeah.
Well, if possible, I'd like to move the bodies out of the corridor into one of the cabins nearby. I want to examine them just...
Okay, are you sort of stopping and leaving the rest of the group to do this? Or are you calling for the rest of the group
in a
to
row,
wait?
aren't we? So... it wouldn't be possible just to effectively throw the bodies in quickly, do a quick examination, or...
I'm going to say that if you're stopping to examine the bodies, you and anyone who stays with you will be separated from the rest of the group. Unless you're telling the whole group to stop. You can still do this. That is fine.
Can always
What would Mortimer do? And what would be fun?
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, I was thinking along the lines of, if the bodies are in the corridor, if we have to leave quickly, we're going to fall over them.
Go for it then. Stop and deal with the bodies.
But if everyone's moving along, then we're out of time.
And by this point, they're round the corner whilst you're considering this.
Yes, just keep following them, I suppose. But are the bodies in the way? Like, are we likely?
I mean, they're lying on the floor. They might be a trip hazard.
What do you reckon, Mr. Williams? Do we have time to move these bodies to one side?
I would not recommend it.
We may have to come this way quickly.
Who was the third person who stayed back with us? Which person was it? There was...
I think the person who's back with you would probably be, probably Hargreaves, the man who first came to your door. Actually, no, it would probably be York. It would probably be York,
the others
bosun.
know.
Yeah.
The others know that we are going to take care of this for a moment.
We're just moving the bodies out of the corridor to avoid tripping over them if we head this way again.
Yep. So yeah, York hurries after the others, leaving Mortimer and D'Angelo to move these bodies into the side room. So as Mortimer and D'Angelo are moving the bodies, the others have pressed on round the corner into appears to be the meth, which is actually a complete and utter mess. Benches sort of torn and knocked to one side. There is a lot more blood in here and a lot more bodies. There's probably about half a dozen. I'm not going to ask for another sanity roll. By this point, you're kind of expecting the horror down here. But there are a lot more bodies. And Harris sort of hesitates in the doorway as you enter in. I think this is where it started. This is where I found the first bodies.
Oh my god.
They were.
I'm sorry.
Though I think some of them were later when people were running. I don't know. No, everything was chaos.
I'll walk through, poke every single one of them, making sure.
Yeah, those stairs down there lead to the lower hole. That's where I locked the rest of the men in. I wasn't sure which ones, or if any of them were it. If one of them was it, I've condemned the rest of them to death, probably. But
Well, we'll see.
I couldn't let that thing loose.
Move down, open the door, and go inside.
Okay.
Weapons at the ready. Wait. Weapons at the ready. Would we have noticed that they're not with us, Keeper?
At this point, yes, they're not with you.
Oh.
So you're almost going sort of single file down the corridor. So it's only sort of as you reach this larger room that you realise you're down 3 people.
Johan, one moment. Let's go back and get them. It would be stupid to separate.
Yeah.
All 3 of us, come on.
Okay, so as you...
Okay.
No, you go.
I was gonna say, I have my hand on my gun. I don't have my gun drawn and pointed. That might be alarming, but let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, so you turn back towards Mortimer and D'Angelo. In the few minutes since the others left, Mortimer and D'Angelo, you managed to move the remnants of those 2 bodies into one of the cabins off to the side. Looks to be an officer's cabin. Still quite small, but not quite as crowded as it might
You
otherwise be.
mentioned one of the bodies was missing part of its face or its head.
Yes, the face is missing.
Can I tell whether it was like acid or something like that, or burn or damage?
Give me a medicine check. It looks like something just ripped it off, just like got hold of it and just tore it clean off.
So it didn't inhabit that body. But that's okay, that's what I wanted to know.
As you're just peering up from this body, the bosun, York, sort of appears. The others went, they've gone down this way, down to the mess. This is we can catch it with them though if we go through this way.
Yep. Which way?
Hold on.
They've gone to the mess. There's a shortcut. If we cut through the storeroom, that will get us there.
Wouldn't it be quicker just to follow the same route?
No, it's quicker through the storeroom. Mortimer knows nothing about the layout of this boat.
Oh, that's true, but no, I've just seen it's a bit strange because York wasn't the one who had gone ahead from us, was he?
He was, yeah.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Does he seem as afraid as he was a moment ago?
Give me a psychology check.
That's more or less what I'm going to do as well.
Let it this.
It just seems a bit strange.
Mortimer, you don't know the layout of this boat. He's both, and he assumably knows his way around better than you do. D'Angelo, I mean, York was doing a fairly good job of hiding any nervousness before, but now he seems to have definitely dampened down any fear. He seems very calm.
I see. Well, there's no need to move with haste at the moment. They will be capable of following behind the others. They may have encountered a problem on their journey just as we did.
What problem?
Quick question as well. Had the sailors that had come with us covered their mouths with scarves as well?
Yeah.
Is
His mouth is covered with a scarf, yeah. Still got his mouth covered with a scarf. You can hear, this is what you hear. I'm going to assume, unless otherwise, that Augustus' screen steps are loud. if he's trying to be sneaky, please.
No.
Correct me.
Augustus actually is very good at being sneaky. No, you can probably hear him cussing. What part of fucking stay together did you all not understand? Because I'm very tall and very wide. So I'm just, like every step
so you
is
can
like
hear
this.
that voice of echoing back down the corridor.
Somehow this is Johann's fault.
As York grabs hold of Mortimer's shoulder, just seizes him by the shoulder, and well, are you going to try and fight back or dodge against this?
This was what we were worried about because he was on his own, apart from this.
Fight back or dodge, Mortimer? Or neither.
I'll try to dodge. Why not? That's a fail.
Okay, yeah, no, he's grabbed you firmly by the shoulders. As he's grabbed you, the scarf that was around your mouth just slips a little. You just see the edges of this greyish, greenish ooze around his mouth. Where he's rapidly pulled his handkerchief up again. Yes, D'Angelo, you've got a bonus die. This is close quarters.
I think it's the purple. Oh my. Wow.
As a failure, it ricochets. Augustus and Johann just behind you hear a gunshot from the direction of where you left the others.
You hear Augustus yell, "Now we're fucking talking. Scream if you need help."
So we've got Augustus and Johann running in. D'Angelo shot the guy, and Harris and Hargreaves, I should learn not to give people names that start with not only the same letter, but the same 3 letters at the point of my abbreviation. Mortimer. York has got you grabbed by the shoulders. You can see this handkerchief starts to slip. You can see there's something in his mouth, something wet and oozing. And D'Angelo's failed to shoot him. What would you like to do?
I'd like to draw both pistols and put them to the one to the bottom of there. Well, actually, why not both guns?
Well, he's got you by the shoulders, remember? He's holding you, so...
He's got me by the shoulders while my hands are still free.
You're fighting, you're wrestling, this is happening fast. I am going to say that the fact he's got you by the shoulders counteracts point blank. So you can either take 1 shot normally or 2 shots with a penalty.
Let me have a quick look. Would that be a penalty for both dice, or...?
Yes, both shots take a penalty if you're doing 2 shots.
Let's see. I'll just take the 1 shot then. It's probably easier for me to draw the one at this sort of quarters.
Yeah, that's the thing. 1 gun's easier to use than trying to fire 2 guns but 1.
So the aim is to try and get the gun to the bottom of his chin and shoot. That's a fail.
He's the fact you're close to, but he's strong and he has your arms and he's like pushing back at your aim. Another gunshot goes off, rattles around this tiny space. All I'm going to say is, fumbles. I know what's happening. Augustus, you can see you reach the door of this cabin, this very tight space. You can see inside it there is Mortimer, sort of wrestling with York, the bosun. There's D'Angelo. There's not much space for another person in there, but you're sort of in the doorway. What would you like to do?
So I just want to make sure that in this cabin there's Mortimer, D'Angelo, and York, and just the 3?
Yes.
Okay. So I am going to... No, I'm scared of shooting my gun and hitting one of my friends or having it ricochet off. And I am scared of pulling out my knife for that same reason. So I'm going to have both hands free. And I'm going to yell, "Mortimer, you're a soft man who can't fight. I will help you." And I'm going to try to barrel in. And I'm going to start giving York the hands.
Okay, give me a fighting brawl.
Does he get an advantage being that the guy's got hold of me?
The guy is not going to get the opportunity to fight back or dodge because he is busy holding Mortimer. So if this hits, it hits. Okay. Roll me the damage from your fist. I think. Base damage bonus plus 1d3 plus 1d6, so that's 5 points. So York sort of reels backwards, lets go of Mortimer. There's now 4 people crammed into this cabin. There is barely room to move now. Like
I'm gonna try to stand in between him and Mortimer. I'm gonna say, Mortimer, you're a crazy son of a bitch.
Everyone's sort of squeezed in. D'Angelo almost being shoved out the way into like the bunk, the bed nearby. Like there is not room to maneuver in here anymore. Johan, you arrive at the door to see a room crowded with 4 people.
Whatever the creature is that's in him, and I'm pointing at York.
I would like
Johan, what are you doing?
Mortimer just said that. I would like to know if his behavior was, if his demeanor was the way I know it from him.
Well, at the moment, it's very hard to see him clearly, but you can give me a psychology roll, but you remember, this is all happening very quickly.
Okay.
I mean, before he wasn't trying to, like, grab hold of people, and also he didn't have green ooze coming out of his mouth.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, the handkerchief now
problem.
slipped almost fully aside now. You can see there is something in his mouth trying to sort of worm and squeeze its way out. Actually, this is a point. I think I've got you all in one place. Everyone give me a sanity roll.
Just not roll.
This is gonna be
dice
bad.
anymore.
Oh,
D'Angelo, you're out with the London Esoteric Society. I mean,
Oh, always something
what
with
can you
these people.
expect except to lose 1 point of sanity?
And when I succeed, I still lose.
Oh boy.
And as this thing starts to ooze its way out, as he's wrestling with Mortimer out of York's mouth, I need a 1d6 for everyone else, please.
Well, whatever I roll will put me under my limit.
Johan, you lose 3 points of sanity. Augustus, you lose 1 point of sanity. So the same as D'Angelo. You're lucky even when you fail.
I'd like to think that the fact that I'm fighting it somehow helped me. That like my barbarian brain is activated and it's shielding me somewhat.
Mortimer, you lose 5 points of sanity, putting you down to, I think,
Oh yeah, it puts me down to 9.
9 points of sanity.
No.
And please, roll me a d10. If it's boring, I may ask you to re-roll.
4.
Yeah, that's not that boring. Please roll me another d10.
When I called him a crazy son of a bitch, I didn't know it was going to be literally.
4 again.
Okay. A sudden realization hits you, Mortimer. These things can hide inside people, right? They could be hiding in anyone.
Even me.
Even you, but definitely the others. Like they left and came back. York left and came back, and he had one of those things inside him. Their mouths are covered, so you can't tell if it's in them or not. But you reach this wave of sort of. Well, it's not paranoia if they really are inhabited by horrible slug monsters, right? They're all infested, right? They have to be. This whole ship, everyone here is infested. You can't trust any of them to be what you think they are. For the next 4 rounds, you're in the deep grip of this madness. You know that they are all infected.
The ones who've just come back, or?
Yes, the ones who've just come back. You know that you know what you have to do.
I do, but this is quite cramped.
But Johan, I don't believe we got a. I think I've interrupted your turn for sanity
Hmm.
rolls, so over to you.
It's fine. I'm right behind Augustus there, and Augustus is very broad, so I'm not gonna get close enough. But I'm gonna step to the side of him, trying to get the creature around the mouth of the bosun.
Okay, there'll be a penalty to try and hit the creature directly.
Yeah. Come on. Nah.
Oh, it wouldn't make any difference. It's close quarters. It's you.
Yeah, just
You miss as he sort of slithers out the way. He kind of ducks down away from Mortimer. He's sort of trying to edge his way around to the door. He is now sort of close to D'Angelo. You hear Hargreaves and Harris come running up outside. You hear, what in God's name is going on in there? I can't see a thing. They've both got their guns out, but neither of them can get a clean shot because Johan in the doorway is basically the last person who can see anything. Which brings us to York, the creature within him. It's there. It's going to go for D'Angelo. It's going to try and grab a hold of him because you're there. You're the nearest. And do you want to try and fight back, wrestle against it, or dodge out the way?
I'm gonna dodge out of the way. I'm not a fighter.
You're not a fighter, but you're very good at running. You can just scramble back.
I'm
I guess
slippery.
this looks like bunk bed things. So you scramble back into the bunk bed and just out of the way. Yeah, it can't get a hold of D'Angelo. And it is now D'Angelo's turn. Escape from your. He's sort of lunging towards you, still, this thing half hanging out of his mouth now.
If possible, I would like to try and take one of the sheets or blankets on the bed and kind of make like a horse's reins kind of thing to kind of put it into the mouth and then push it away. I don't know what roll that'd be, but
what's a roll for tying blankets and?
Can it be a cult? I'm good at a cult.
It's not being a cult roll.
Is that brawl?
It could be ritual tying of it.
If your cult roll involves how to tie someone quickly with bed sheets, then I have great doubts about what D'Angelo has been up to. I'll take a fighting roll for the actually trying to grab it and get it, so kind of wrestling the sheets away from it. Unless you've got any better offerings of skills.
No, not unless you do want to do dodge instead, but it would still be a failure. I think.
No, that'll just do too much of a push. Yeah, you're not. You're there still trying to tangle the sheets together. You can't manage to get a good hold on York because he's trying to scrabble and grab at you. Mortimer, it is your turn. York is going after D'Angelo, but the other two infected are there. Johan's in the doorway. Augustus has put himself between you and York. He is the nearest one to you.
I would have thought that with trying to work out the positioning in the room, D'Angelo and myself were in the room because we shifted the bodies and York was in the doorway.
Yes, and then Augustus has said he'd put himself between you and York, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
You would have had to have pushed past him in the doorway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I know what I'm going to do, unfortunately. Yeah, D'Angelo, they're all infected, all of them. We're the only ones who aren't. And I'm going to draw my sword cane and I'm going to try and open Augustus' screen up to get the slug thing out.
Okay, give me a fighting brawl, or if you've got sword specifically written down on your sheet.
But basically, I'll try to position myself to be able to attack him from the front, although he's trying to keep it in between me.
Give me a fighting brawl, and Augustus, either give me a fighting brawl in return or a dodge.
I rolled well for a change.
I will try to guess dodge because I don't want to beat up my nerd friend, but We'll see how it goes. Could I spend some luck?
You would need this to be a hard success. So you would need to spend down to a 23 to beat Mortimer's.
Yeah.
So that would be 22 points of luck.
Oh, hell. He stabs me.
Okay, I think that's 1d6 plus the damage bonus. He just slices across you, essentially trying to gut you.
3.
You take 3 points of damage, Augustus.
Last session I took 2 points. I guess it was 2 months ago.
Yes, that's 2 months ago. Those have healed up.
Okay. Well.
And it is your turn, Augustus.
I scream, Mortimer, I'm going to slap you into the sun later, but not now. And at this point, I am super pissed. I am pulling out my gun. I'm shooting Slug Guy.
Okay.
York.
Your bonus it would be a bonus from close quarters, but because there's so many people in here, the close quarters is almost acting against you. So it would be a straightforward roll for the gun. Oh, we're not having much luck with guns today. That would be, I think, an 11 to turn that into a success if you want to spend the luck.
I'll spend 11 points of luck.
Okay. Spend 11 points of luck to make that a success. And that is 10 points. There is a loud bang, especially loud for D'Angelo, as it narrowly misses you. There's this loud gunshot echoing from close quarters and just a splatter.
Yeah. Yep. York is infected and he is no longer with us.
Is dead. The thing is still moving. It's definitely injured. You can see it's bleeding this darkish green blood, but the thing is now sort of slithering out of York onto the bunk, like moving under its own sort of movement. It is about 3 feet long, sort of tapered, like halfway between a slug and an enormous, very fat tapeworm.
Okay.
Just picture that. Let that mull that over in your mind.
I just watched The Thing a couple weeks ago, so I actually have a pretty good visual in my head as to what that looks like. It's on the ground.
It's Johann's turn.
Yeah, I want to stab that thing. And ideally, I want to step through it and into the floor.
Okay.
So I intend to nail it down where it is.
Alright, give me a fighting brawl. It is going to try and slither out the way. It's going to try and dodge.
Oh, come on, roll 20.
It's surprisingly nimble for a slithery worm thing. Your sword hits the deck, and sort of the sparks fly up, but no, it slithers past you. It's trying to slither its way out towards the door. Sort of making it... So it's heading sort of slithering. Well, Johann's still in the doorway, right? Isn't he?
I'm right behind Augustus.
Yeah. You were the closest to the door. So it slithers as you're trying to stab it. It's slithering past and... You know what? It's going to try and slither its way up, Johann. It's
sure.
Slithering thing sort of like clamber up you. Sliding and slithering quite fast up and around. You can try and dodge this. You can try and sort of get out of it, or you can let it be on you.
I'm not trying to dodge this per se. I'm trying to use my body to keep it in one place.
Okay, yeah. That'll be a fighting brawl. Essentially maneuver. Essentially like pin it. Stop it getting any further.
Hard success.
Yes,
I'm giving you the 4 points
it.
if I need extreme.
Yeah, no. It's halfway up. You kind of You can lean back and like pin it between your body and like the side of the ship, like the wall of the ship. You've got it held in place for now. And D'Angelo, it is your turn.
I got it.
So soon. I guess he will take the sheets and blankets he were using to make like a, I guess, a net, and to grab it from Johan. So that's, I don't know, what role we'd want to call that. Or...
I'll say you can make this a fighting roll with a bonus die. Essentially, grab it. Yeah, you've got it wrapped up in, like, wrapping it up in the sheet, holding it in place.
All right. Can we all calm down?
Mortimer, you're still in the grip of your madness.
Where is everyone positioned? Is it still Augustus the closest one to him still, or?
I think Augustus is still the closest to you. Johann's by the door. D'Angelo is next to Johann's. I think Augustus is the closest, then D'Angelo, then Johann.
Yeah, he's still going to go for Augustus. He's not making sense. It's like madness has taken over him. If he was thinking clearly, he wouldn't be going for him, but he's not.
You're not thinking logically. This is...
He's just shouting out about he's infected, it's in him, and I'll keep trying to.
Okay. Give me a fighting roll. Augustus, give me a dodge or a fighting
That's the
roll in
action.
return.
It's a fail from me. So.
You miss.
Would it be so? I am gonna do unarmed. I don't have to shoot him, right?
No.
Even though I have the gun in my hand. Okay.
In fact,
Okay.
you can't use a gun to fight back in fighting brawl anyway. It would be fighting brawl.
Gotcha.
That's 9 points of damage to Mortimer.
I'm sorry. Mortimer, as I punch you, I yell, big nerd, trying to snap you out of it, and I just punch you in the throat really, really hard.
That is a major wound, and I'm down to 1 health.
Oh, God. You're so soft.
Just saying, if you hit me like that, I'm dying.
I don't care. I'm kidding. You know I love you.
To do Constitution check.
Yeah. I don't think you actually... Yes, to see if you maintain consciousness or not.
Success. Still
You're
conscious.
still conscious. But yes, you're down on the floor. You are... Yeah, things have been better. You've taken a major wound. You're down on the floor.
It'll heal. Fine.
Johann, it's your turn. The thing seems... Oh no, Augustus, sorry, it's your turn first.
I'm going to try to grapple Mortimer. Since he's on the ground, I'm going to try to, like, put him in a full Nelson. And so, like, I don't want to hit him again, because, like, when I hit him, I imagine that he fell and made a very pathetic sound. So I don't want to kill him, but I'm really tired of getting attacked with that sword. So I'm going to try to grapple him.
Yep, give me a fighting brawl. Mortimer, you can try and dodge out the way of this or fight back against it, but I'm giving you a penalty die because you're really hurt. So.
I think I'll try to dodge out of it.
Oh, God. He's definitely done.
It's like a multiple, like, you don't really dodge, but, like, Augustus has been not... Maybe he's just not putting as much of his force behind this as he, like, might otherwise. Something's holding him back.
I got, like, a lower back issue, so bending down the scoop, I'm just like, oh, I should have just kicked him. And I yell, Mortimer is acting... Don't hurt Mortimer. Just get the slug thing. Or help keep you... I don't fucking know. This is dumb.
Johann, it's your turn.
We have a slug. We have it tied down in a
Bed sheet.
sheet.
Yes.
So I guess now is the time to step it through the sheet.
Yes, you have a bonus die.
Come on. Come on! I'm trying to fucking troll using the 9 points of luck.
Okay. Yeah.
It wasted 1 for me. Come on.
Yes, that's 9. Okay, roll me the damage on your sword as you're stabbing through this thing. It's wriggling and writhing in the sheet. You can see it's like greenish blood soaking through the fabric.
That is another 3 points of damage to it.
It's still moving, it's still twitching, it's still trying to wrestle and wriggle its way out, and you can see almost it's starting to eat its way through the fabric. Like whatever is in its blood is starting to break apart the sheet that it's tied up in. And Harris and Hargreaves out in the corridor. Hargreaves is sort of backed up against the wall, looking like just trembling slightly. He doesn't seem quite with it at the moment. Harris seems to have maintained his wits somewhat. Is that it? Is that what's causing all this? Right.
Yes.
Maybe just throw it overboard. Will that help? No, that wouldn't help. The thing is going to try and get out. It's going to try and escape from its captivity. Who's holding it at the moment?
I believe I am, I guess. I don't know why.
I'd like a strength roll from whoever's holding it. That would be D'Angelo,
Oh,
please.
Lord. Oh, Lord.
Come on.
There's a ripping of fabric and it slithers its way out of D'Angelo's arms and hits the deck with this wet noise and starts to slither its way up the corridor towards the mess where you saw all the other bodies before, and slither its way down the corridor away from you. D'Angelo, it is your turn.
Is there any other people between me and the thing? Like, could I accidentally shoot someone if I tried to shoot it?
The only person sort of between you and the thing is Hargreaves, and he's backed up against the wall. From the angles from where it went, Johann's not exactly in the way. Hargreaves, you could only shoot him if you were really bad aim.
I'm really bad at this. I'm gonna cast a spell on it. I'm gonna cast Green Decay at it.
Okay. Have you cast this spell before?
I have not.
Okay. I will require a hard power roll here. This is for casting a spell. Hang on. Let me just check. Yeah, this is a variation of Green Decay. Let's call this Rapid Green Decay.
Oh goodness, I didn't know this was an upgraded version.
Well,
was that extreme success?
That was just a success.
Oh, just the regular. Yes, the first one.
So you would need, for this to be a hard success, you would need to spend 11 points of luck.
I don't want to do it, but I'll do it.
I'm going to say, not getting a hard success doesn't mean you didn't cast the spell, it just means you take negative consequences.
I'll spend the 11 luck. I'll do it.
Okay. Now, how many magic points have you got?
14.
Okay. So you spend all 14 magic points. You feel just the energy drain out of you. You also lose a hit point of health as you see like this trickle of blood from your nose. You've never had this before. You didn't know the sort of full cost of this. I need you to roll me 1d8.
Why? This is why I don't do this.
You lose 2 points of sanity. as this spell reaches out. And last of all, I need another power roll. First is to see if the spell goes off without negative effect. The second is to see if the spell takes out its opponent. You feel the spell reach out towards these things. The whole of the ship trembles for a moment. And then you feel wherever it is pushed back. The force of this spell driven back away from you. You have this moment of insight, of realization that if this had worked, this thing would be beyond dead. This spell inflicts enough damage to turn something like that into just green mulch, to rot it away into nothing, but at a great cost to yourself. I will add the details for this version of the green decay. Your sheet.
Real 20.
But
Well, look at
unfortunately,
who doesn't like me.
not today. So, the rest
Oh,
you feel this
that one.
ripple pass through you as this unless of course you wanted to spend the 18 luck to make that an actual success. But in future you won't need to make the first power roll. You know this spell now, you know how it works, you know how to do it. For the cost of 15 magic points and 1d8 sanity.
No, I can't spend the points, the luck points. It's too many points.
Okay. Mortimer, you're still completely and utterly insane.
Yep. I'm going to try and run.
Run? Yes, I suppose, yeah, get out of there. Limp your way up and out.
I'm going to try and run away from everyone back to the boat, well, the ship, and get out of here.
Okay, yeah, so you clamber up, you're not pinned down to the floor, you can stagger up to your feet and start making your way out the door. Augustus, Mortimer is getting away, do you want to let him?
Yeah, I don't really care about that. He can't stab me if he's running away.
Yes.
So I felt you were describing some awful feeling emanating from D'Angelo, or that general area, right?
Yes.
And what did I see when that spell was cast at the slug?
You saw, I think, D'Angelo probably muttering something. You definitely saw like a trickle of blood from his nose, like as he took internal damage from this. I don't know. Is D'Angelo a dramatic magic caster or more of a subtle magic caster? Is he waving his arms about and intoning this new spell, or just?
I feel like it would be subtle. You know, I feel like D'Angelo's very reserved person.
All right, so I won't make. So Augustus kind of like puts that, in mental storage for later. When I look at the slug and what is it trying to do? How did it respond to the spell? Or
It seems to be slithering its way down the corridor towards the
All right,
leaving this trail of greenish blood behind it.
How close can I get to it in my turn and still attack it?
You can catch up with it. This is all happening in a fairly close space.
I want to catch up to it and try to point blank shoot it with my gun.
Okay. So you can. You got running after it. You're moving, so that's a penalty. But you're close enough, so that's not a penalty. So it's a straight shot.
Okay.
See if you can hit it. You cannot hit it. I think the guns just are not effective in this space today. Another gunshot goes off but misses it entirely as Augustus chases after this thing. Johan.
How much luck would I have to spend?
Yes.
34.
I'm gonna spend it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm spending 30.
For 2 damage, you should.
Well, I don't know. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I don't know what the damage is gonna be when I shoot it. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's giving me information I shouldn't have.
Yeah, fair.
So I am just like, oh god, damn it, my back, gotcha, fuckers, bang! Oh, I didn't do anything. Like with the luck, I imagine like I missed, but it ricochets back into it.
I'll say yeah. For 34 points of luck, the gun goes off. It hits the wall and ricochets back into this thing. And that 2 points is enough to bring it to a halt.
Okay.
That was exactly what was needed. The gamble was worth it. The worm stops twitching. Mortimer has run off onto the deck of the boat. Harris just kind of staggers against the side of the ship. Like, is that it? Is it dead?
I'm
Does
gonna,
everyone call off?
gonna go there and chop its head off.
Yeah, you can just slice through this. It's kind of seems to be rapidly losing any structure, sort of melting away into this greenish gloop.
Johan, I need to talk to you. Come here.
Yeah, Mormon. Yeah,
Just you.
but
Come here. And I'm trying to whisper like right into his ear. What if? And so my mic won't pick it up if I try to whisper it. But what if all of the other crewmen that came down with us are contaminated? Do you think I should give them the old clickety click? Usually, I'd ask Mortimer, but he's insane. And I don't know D'Angelo well enough to ask him this.
if there was another one, it would have probably intervened us killing this, though.
So that makes sense, but it's coming from you, so I glower at it dubiously, but it does make sense. Good job, old boy. And I pat you on the side of your face.
Leave
Now
me in
move!
one piece, please. Okay.
Cut the shit out of me, Johan. Look at my back.
Yeah. Go and look for.
Mortimer,
Yeah, he should fix that up once he's back to his senses.
I'm gonna punch him as hard as I can in the liver.
Don't. I think you're
Not
already
now.
dead.
No, when he's right, I'm gonna punch him in the liver so hard he makes squeaking sounds. And I weeble wobble my way down, like, Mortimer, come here, you fucking nerd. And that's what
Mortimer.
Augustus is doing.
Mortimer, you reach the deck and return to your senses.
Must be the fresh air.
As the fresh, lovely Thames estuary air hits you.
Oh, lovely. It looks like small salts.
You have a very clear memory of everything that just happened. And you hear Augustus's voice echoing from below.
I'm going to find if there's a room to one side or...
You're up on the deck.
Okay, there will be
That's where
somewhere
you were
there.
going.
I'm going to try and first aid myself.
Yep. Look, now you don't have your medical kit with you. This is just a first aid check, trying to
Yeah.
tend to your own injuries.
I thought you picked that. I thought you brought one with you from your shop.
He would have brought his medical kit with him. He brings that with him everywhere. To be fair,
Yeah,
That'll be down in the cabin though.
Okay.
I don't think you would have had it with you when you
your point is well taken.
panicked run. But yeah, you can get a point back.
doubled my health. But I think that'll probably take my action.
Yeah, we're not in order in combat anymore.
He's probably going to stay up on deck and treat his injuries.
Yeah, down below, Harris. goes up and like shakes Augustus's hand, and then like Johan and D'Angelo like, thank you. Oh, sorry, I couldn't get in there to help.
You are as useful as
I'm sorry. There was not an. Everything happened so fast. I froze up for a moment there, and I was worried
Don't
about
worry.
Hargreaves. The thing. It was just. God, York's dead. And
yeah, fuck him. You tried to kill my friends.
oh, yes, but this doesn't.
Officially, I didn't do this shit. I want to tell you this right now.
Well, this is the question. It's officially. How do I explain
I'll tell you
any
what
of
happened
this
officially. Officially, what happened is that York lost his mind, went on a killing spree, and then when he was cornered, he took his own life. Argue with me, I'll slap the taste out of your mouth.
No, I'm not trying to accuse you of this. I'm trying to come up with a story that will mean I don't get hanged for murdering a ship full of my own men.
York did it.
York did it. Blaming it all on him seems.
York did it, and anyone else that was around him at the time that you suspected had the slug in them did it. They did a mutiny because they wanted to overthrow and take this super powerful boat and sell it, or be a pirate, or do whatever dumb stuff. It doesn't matter because they're dead.
Pirates with the Penelope. The nearest destroyer would blow it out the water.
I didn't say they were smart. If they were smart, they'd have joined a better branch of the military. I'm done with you. And I leave. What? Say something. That's what I thought.
Let's just be rational about this for a moment.
I'm gonna go find Mortimer. I storm off in a humph and a good day. I say good day, sir, and I just storm.
Augustus Green is a Londoner, right? He grew up in an era in which the British Navy was.
He's just trying to be belligerent and hurtful.
Something you'd play down, like.
He was belligerent and hurtful.
Yeah.
Augustus is trying to be belligerent and hurtful, not logical.
Yeah.
So, how about
They've not invented the Air Force yet.
this?
The army.
How close are we to the streets where the poor people live in here?
Pardon? I mean, you're out in the middle of the estuary. The river's quite wide at this point.
There's poor people that could, have tried something to, take the boat and get away from here. Try to do something like that.
Just criminals and the.
Yeah.
I suppose my main question is. He kind of points to like the remain. May I point out during this entirety of the fight there were 2 dead bodies on the floor of the cabin, which are now in really bad condition. I clean forgot they were having this fight on top of 2 dead men.
Yeah.
Yeah. This cabin is a mess. He points down to like
suggestion,
the destroyed.
if I may.
Oh.
My suggestion is that you inform the people that your men came down with the sickness. There are many that make you delusional. Being a sailor is a stressful job. It is entirely possible that they saw strange things and that prompted them to fight with one another. It wasn't until you arrived back in port and sought out aid that you discovered what befell of your people. It is unusual, but it will prevent their families from bearing any sort of stigma as
I'm not sure.
potential traitors.
Yeah.
I would
Hargreaves,
recommend giving
what do you
it some
think? Can we sell
time.
madness and mutiny? Hargreaves, who still looks sort of pale and very, very shaken, goes, it'll be a hard sell, but I think if the alternative explanation is they were eaten from the inside out by some thing, then possibly we can explain this in some way. But it's going to be a long day of meetings. think best we round all of you up and get you brought back to shore so you're not involved in any of this mess. And I am grateful. And having someone who was level-headed enough to deal with this without fainting or collapsing is because Harris was right. This is beyond what anything we've seen before.
And hopefully you will never see something like that again.
Hopefully. Right, yeah, let's get the boat back, get you back on shore, and then I'll take Harris over to the Admiralty and we can try and explain this mess in a way that even makes an iota of sense. I wish, yes, as Harris said, I'm sorry I couldn't get in there fast enough. It really, of all the places to start a fight on the boat, you chose possibly the smallest room. No, there is a cupboard on the lower deck that's smaller. That is true. Or you could have had it in the heads. That would have been even more unpleasant.
Considering that the bosun knew the layout of the ship, that's probably a reason we fought where we did.
Yeah, right. Where did the other two go?
Stairs, I think.
Yep, I went to go get Mortimer.
Yeah. Mortimer, are you allowing yourself to be found, or are you trying to hide?
I'm saying now, so I'm probably not hiding.
Okay.
Probably.
Yeah.
Mortimer.
Augustus, you come up on deck to find Mortimer patching himself up.
Mortimer.
As soon as he turns up, I'll get ready with my sword cane. You sure you're not infected?
I'm only infected with rage.
Do you remember your keywords that you came up with?
Well, let's see here. Yo Wilhelm Zur guy is dangerous horse. You're a big nerd. The new guy, D'Angelo, he's not even new. He's new to me. The author is, let's see here, is Good Words. And mine was Angry Scones.
Oh, that makes sense. Welcome back.
Welcome back? You're the one who went...
We didn't go anywhere.
You went insane. I've seen you go insane before. I know
I
it looks
thought
like...
all of you were infected. All of you that had gone ahead had come back infected.
I'm going to put aside the fact that that is monumentally stupid, and I'm going to focus on the fact that you're alive. I am very sorry for hitting you that hard in the throat. You slashed me, I let it go. Then you slashed me again, and I got mad, and I forgot that you are built like a pillow. So I apologize for that. If you ever attack me with a sword again, I'm going to put my fist right through your skull, but I do love you. I'll be happy about it tomorrow. Hopefully you can stitch me
I
up.
think I did that much damage to you, but I can patch you up if you want whilst you're here.
You're most magnanimous. That was my word of the day from 2 weeks ago.
And I'll try and patch up where I'd cut him with the sword.
Yeah.
Just a first aid roll. So.
That D'Angelo guy, I like the cut of his jib. I like him. And I'm going to tell you something, but you can't repeat it, otherwise I will kill you. You alright? Are you okay to hear it? I even like Johan. You can't know.
No.
You mustn't know.
You must never know.
You must never know. But I like him.
I haven't decided myself on that yet.
I will give you the point.
You're downstairs. You can't hear it. Mortimer, when we get back, I'm going to be really drunk for a long time. Like real drunk.
Yeah, Johan and the others, you're climbing up the ladder to join the others on deck, you just catch the very end of a conversation. But only if you're really extremely good at listening. But yeah, everyone makes their way back up on deck. Harris calls his boat back alongside, and the first thing as it pulls up is Kennedy, the midshipman, looks up and goes, "Where's York?"
He lost his head.
Harris
Couldn't handle the
shakes his head.
stress.
Goes, "We lost York. Look, once we get back to shore, you three and I will be going with Hargreaves. We need to get our story straight on this."
Did you want me to put anything in support of your stories? Because I am.
You were never here. You were never here.
Oh,
Damn right.
Much as I'm very glad that Hargreaves did fetch you, Hargreaves fetching you makes no sense in any version of the story that makes sense. If that makes sense?
Makes sense.
yes, the lack of sense makes sense.
Exactly.
Do you could you pay us in booze, please?
You like rum?
It's fine.
Actually, the Navy's got quite a reputation for good.
I can send you some rum.
I need,
Hargreaves has your address, I presume?
yes, copious amounts of rum and buxom ladies if you have them as well. I don't.
Unfortunately, we're a little in short supply of the buxom ladies, but we have no shortage of rum.
Times are hard. Times are hard. I just go to sleep. I just pass out.
And as you're being rowed back to shore, Harris kind of looks to the others past the sleeping Augustus and goes, "By copious, does he mean naval copious or landsman copious amounts?"
I wouldn't bet either way.
Fine. I'll send over a few barrels. No, casks. That's the right word for rum. Casks.
Take care of yourselves.
Yeah, they drop you off back on shore and go to try and come up with a story that doesn't end up with them in too much trouble. And as you part ways, Hargreaves sort of says, "Look, on top of any rum that Harris manages to send you, or I send you if Harris gets arrested, is there anything? Look, if there's anything we can do for you in the future, within my limited means as a captain, officer of the Navy, if there's anything that we can do, give me a call, send a telegram, and I will see what I can do to assist. But within the limits of my duty, I cannot break too many laws."
Sounds good. And if you see anything like this again or hear anything, let us know.
You want to know?
Better than if nobody knows,
All
right?
right, just checking. I was quite happy to promise never to bring anything like this to your door again, but yes, I will let you know if I come across anything that I can't handle myself. I would definitely have a jolly good try.
Who recommended this to you?
So there's a friend of mine, a man named Albernathi, lawyer, little slightly Weasley guy. Anyway, after he's had a few drinks, he can't hold his liquor very well. He starts talking about all the people he does business for, and one of them is the London Esoteric Society. Apparently he handles your trust, your accounts. I don't know, I didn't listen to the accountancy and lawyering nonsense, but he soon gets into talking about fish cults and the time he tried to propose to a girl who then turned out to be a werewolf. So when Harris came knocking at my door, screaming about monsters, my first thought was, those weird people that Elbanathi knows. And
Fair.
seems he wasn't quite as crazy a drunk as I thought he was.
Well, look, if you ever not holding your liquor, people are gonna hold you for a crazy drunk as well. So don't bother.
Well, I can hold my liquor.
Perhaps we should stop away.
Yeah, let's test that.
Well, yes. Put that to the test one day. Thank you, gentlemen. And so, you part ways. Return home to the society, where May is waiting with, has waited up with, cold meats and breads and a fresh batch of scones for everyone.
Oh, God. Oh, thank you. I'm going to eat all of this, and I'm going to get really drunk tomorrow. Really drunk.
And a couple of days later, a cart arrives at the London Esoteric Society, bearing with it 6 casks of naval strength rum.
Oh, God bless the Navy. God and country.
Labeled with greatest thanks, Harris. And that is where we're going to end the night.